This footage existed before you were born, before your parents were born, before the house you grew up in was built. It was recovered from a federal storage facility that does not appear on any government map. The Department of Health has no record of specimen 238, no intake form, no discharge date, no next of kin contacted, no record that she existed at all. What you are about to watch is not classified as horror. It is classified as a biological correction event, and the woman trapped inside the mirror. She's been watching someone wear her face for 37 years. She knew you would eventually press play. She has been waiting for exactly this moment. Subscribe before the signal locks. Case file MZ238. Initiated October 14th, Ohio. The subject is female, early 30s, leaves alone, works second shift at a distribution center outside Columbus. No prior psychiatric history, no criminal record, no family and state. What brought her to our attention was not who she was, it was what her bathroom mirror was doing between 2 and 4 a.m. We placed 4 cameras, 1 ceiling unit, 1 embedded in the mirror frame itself. The department had a working term for the anomaly. They called it refractive displacement, a reflective surface that does not return what is placed before it, but returns something adjacent to what is placed before it. Something occupying the same shape, but operating from a separate biological frame. Hour 0. Subject 238 has no idea. She thinks the light is flickering. She bought new bulbs. Twice. The mirror allowed her to believe that. Hour 41, the deviation became measurable. Frame-by-frame analysis confirmed it. The reflection was operating on a separate biological clock. Pulse, blink rate, respiration depth, all offset from the subject by exactly 0.4 seconds, consistent enough to be intentional, variable enough to evade casual detection. It was not delayed. It was pacing itself. Our psychologist at the time, Dr. Williams, proposed the designation mirrored autonomous entity. We shortened it in field notation. We called it what the footage made it look like, the mirror zombie, not because it was dead, because it was cataloging, studying every gesture, every habit, every involuntary movement of the woman standing 2 feet away from it, separated only by silver-backed glass. Subject 238 noticed nothing. She put on lip balm. She hummed something. She turned the light off and went to bed. The reflection remained standing in the dark for 11 minutes after she left the room. It did not move. It did not sit. It waited. Hour 63. We switched to the ceiling unit for a wider field of view. That decision is logged. The time stop exists. We cannot explain what it triggered. Subject 238 was deteriorating. She had stopped sleeping in the bedroom. She moved to the couch. She avoided the hallway that passed the bathroom. She described to no one. She had no one to describe it to. A feeling she later wrote in a journal as, "The apartment is watching me from one specific direction." She was right. She had identified the correct direction. She did not know what it meant. The reflection, however, had identified the ceiling camera. It was looking directly into the lens, not up. At us, there is disagreement among the 4 surviving team members about the expression. 2 say recognition. 1 says warning. I say it was the specific look of someone who has been screaming in a soundproofed room and has just found the intercom button. It wasn't surveilling us. It was trying to reach us. We had the broadcast path. It had found the window. We turned the camera off. We should not have done that. Hour 68. The deviation ceased. Total synchronization. Every blink, every exhale, every micro-expression matched between subject and reflection with 0 measurable offset. Not 1 frame of lag. Not 1 degree of deviation in head position. We had documented this phase twice before in prior cases. We had a name for it. Stage 4, lure. The entity achieving complete mimicry to lower the subject's threat response, to let the adrenaline leave the bloodstream, to restore the baseline. We knew what Stage 4 preceded. We had written it in the protocol document ourselves. Subject 238 did not know any of this. She exhaled, her shoulders unlocked. You can watch it happen in the overhead footage. A woman who had been carrying structural tension for days, releasing it through her spine in a single breath. She smiled at herself in the mirror. The reflection smiled back, perfectly, warmly, hers. Our lead observer's log entry at timestamp 68 hours, 14 minutes, and 2 seconds reads, subject reassured, threat neutralized. Recommend passive monitoring only. We agreed. We filed the update. We got coffee. We were 4 minutes from the end of the tape. We called her the mirror zombie. We were wrong about which side of the glass produced that name, what we designated as the refractive displacement entity, the lagging reflection, the upward gaze, the reaching hands, was not an intrusion into the subject's life. It was a reclamation of it. The woman at the sink was not the original occupant of that identity. She was a biological inversion copy, a stable duplicate generated during a prior displacement event that the department initiated, documented, and then deliberately destroyed the record of. The copy had no knowledge of its own construction. It had her memories, her handwriting, her social security number, her face. But the original, the actual woman, had been displaced into the reflective substrate of that bathroom mirror 37 years earlier, conscious, aware, watching a version of her own face love a version of her own life in a house she remembered buying 37 years in the glass. The arm that reached through was not a monster's arm. It was the arm of a woman who had spent 37 years learning the exact tensile threshold of a silver-backed reflective surface. She had been calculating the reach. She had been waiting for stage 4. She knew the copy would lower its guard. She knew because she knew herself. The mirror. Zombie was never the zombie. The zombie was the thing we had been watching, feeding, and protecting for 72 hours. The one inside the glass was the one trying to live. We do not know where specimen 238 went after the contact event. We are no longer confident the word wet is the accurate verb. Material analysis of the clothing confirmed degradation consistent with approximately 100 years of ambient exposure. The fabric was cotton polyester blend. It had no business being that old. The mirror was undamaged. The glass had no stress fractures, no surface irregularities, no residue. It was clean. It was, the analyst noted in her report, cleaner than it had been at the start of the 72 hours. The department produced two internal hypotheses. The first, the original specimen 238, upon reclaiming her biological identity, was incompatible with the cellular architecture the copy had modified over 37 years. Identity rejection at the molecular level. Both entities dissolved into the transitional space between surface and depth. The second hypothesis is the one that ended careers, the one that got the funding pulled, the one that 3 people resigned rather than sign their names to. The second hypothesis is that she made it out, that the copy was absorbed back into the substrate, and that the original, the woman who had been inside the glass since before some of our team members were born, walked out of that bathroom, down the hallway, out the front door, into a Tuesday morning in a city that had moved completely on without her. If you have ever passed a stranger on the street and felt a recognition you cannot explain, a familiarity with no source, a face that almost fits a memory you don't actually have, consider the question seriously. Which side of the glass are you currently on? This has been document MZ238B. This case remains open. Do not look at your reflection after this video ends. Give it at least an hour. It needs time to reset.